What is up, guys? It's Dylan with Redneck Tuners, and I'm back with another video. This video is going to be something interesting because I do receive a ton of questions, DMs, comments on some videos as well about this. And I actually filmed this video, I think it was about 2 years ago, and I never posted it, never edited it. I just honestly forgot that I had it, and I was thinking about it after I got another DM about it. And I figured right now is the perfect time to post it so that way people can see it. I'd like to give a fair warning though. This is 2 years ago. A little camera shy then. I'm not very good at filming, and a mixture of everything. I kind of talk a little bit of rambling. So if it seems a little long or seems a little excessive, I apologize, but it was a while ago. Hopefully my skills have improved since then. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to install LED bulbs into your cluster. It kind of transforms the look of the car. I've had them on there for, like I said, 2 years now. I've had zero issues with them. I love them. They get a lot of attention. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, something I would like to mention about this video, the goal of when I made the video was not exactly just for the LED lights. I was replacing bits and pieces of the cluster, like the different gauges, to see if I could get things to work, because at the time they weren't working. So sometimes the focus kind of shifts a little bit. I just want to warn you ahead of time, but it shows everything you need to do for the LED lights. And yeah. So the first step, on your driver's side kick panel, there'll be these screws. They're just plastic screws, so be really careful with them. And then there's like a little, like a cedar, basically. Mine's obviously missing a couple. I'm gonna end up replacing them when I clean all this out and move it for carpet. But yeah, just unscrew them and then they'll pop right out. And then you have a another screwdriver, plastic comes out like that. You're gonna have to take the dead pedal out, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's either a 10 or 12 millimeter, but it's also a screw. So that'll come out. There is a bolt right here for this side kick panel. And there is another one back there. If I'm not mistaken, that is it. Obviously, you can pull the fuse box out because it's going, or pull the fuse box cover out. And then after that, you should be free to take this kick panel out. All right, now that you got your door sill, your dead pedal, and your kick panel out, you're gonna be working toward this kick panel now. It's a 10 millimeter bolt or a Phillips head here, 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 and two over there. And this should sag down. Be careful for your e-brake here. You can unbolt it, but honestly, I usually just let it hang. We'll see when we get there, but I'm gonna take those off right now. They should come out fairly easy. Be careful, like I said, these aren't plastic, obviously, but it's still fragile. You're screwing into plastic, so you don't want to break anything or over torque it. So forgot to mention that sneaky little bolt right there. Sometimes I forget about it. I've taken down this whole dash apart probably, I don't know, good 4 or 5 times now, but yeah, I always forget about this guy right here, so just remember that one. After unbolting all of those, the kick panel will fall down like this. Clearly mine is very dirty, but it'll fall down like this. You can kind of work your way to the bottom, and then don't forget about this light right here. Just go ahead and pop that out of the harness. Quick side note, I've been calling this e-brake. Typical, because my old Toyota had the e-brake release. It's not a e-brake, it's your hood latch. That's what I meant to say. It's not your e-brake. That is your e-brake. It's typical for me to say that because I worked on plenty of things that have the e-brake release right there. So it's just a habit. So no, it's your hood latch. After you got that unplugged and it's sitting on the ground, or like I said, if you unbolt that, you can pull it out of the car entirely. It's up to you. After that, we're gonna be working on the steering column cover here. There are Phillips heads. There should be 4 of them right up front, up top here. And then there is 1 on each side right here. So there's total, I believe, 6. All right, now that you've unbolted all 6 bolts from under the steering column cover, right here, your little key release, this cover just slides right off. Try not to break these. Tabs are very fragile, and they tend to just fall around if you don't do it right. And then you'll just be able to kind of maneuver this around, and it should pull Oops. They have little clips as well that holds this whole unit together. But just like that, bottom panel will come out. Okay. And then your top panel can maneuver out as well. Oops. So if you're having trouble getting this top piece off because it's stuck behind like your tilt action, this will help the rest of the install anyways. So what you should do is you get under here, and there are 2 bolts holding up your column. That one right there, as you can see, that big one. And then there should be one on the other side. This one's a little bit harder to see. There it is right there. You pull those out with a, I forget what size socket it is. I'll get that right now and I'll tell you. But that way your tilt will just basically, it won't fall to the ground, but it'll go like another 6 inches lower. And then you can pull that off, and then we'll work our way to this part afterward, which is going to be those 2 bolts up there. Or, I mean, sorry, those are screws. Those are Phillips head screws. And then it's clipped in under here. So what you do is you lift the clip like that, both sides, and then your buttons are going to be connected. They're probably all going to fall out, so be very careful. People recommend that you just kind of either pop these buttons out manually and then pull the thing out, or kind of just place your bets. I've never taken this car apart before, so we're going to find out how the best way to do it for me is, but I'm going to bolt that column really quick. Right after unbolting those 2 from the column there, your steering wheel should be able to move freely like this. It adds a little bit more room for you to get your hands under, especially when you're trying to pop this piece out. But after that, this should just come right up. And then, like I said, those 2 Phillips screws up there, and then we're going to see what's going to happen with this. Okay, I've taken out these 2 screws up here. And like I said, there's clips, you lift them. As you can see, I'm creating some sort of movement. Be careful, these pieces are very fragile, the buttons are fragile. Let's see if I can get this kind of out of the way here. And then all of these are connected with connectors, so you don't want to rip any wires out or anything. It's really hard to maneuver this carefully with one hand, so I'm gonna maneuver it out. But as you can see, I'm creating the space here, creating the gap up here, and then it will all just come out as a unit. And then you can either, if you're just trying to get at the cluster, you can unbolt the cluster. There's going to be 3 bolts, and I'll show you those. And then you can pull the cluster out with the harness. Or if you're really trying to get all this out, and you know, with a detail or whatever the heck you guys are doing, you can unplug every single button here. I'm going to see what I can work with. If I can get the cluster out without unplugging all the buttons, I will. If not, then I'll unplug them. So I got it loose from the top there. It wasn't the best thing, but as you can see, this is what happens to the plugs. They just pull right out. I'm popping my headlights right up right now, but they just pop right out. They can pop easily right back in. But I don't want to do that for every single one of them because it takes way too long, and it has the chance of breaking these buttons. So we're going to try, like I said, we're going to try to maneuver it without it. There are 3 bolts to the cluster, 1 up top. There's 1 in that corner, and then 1 in that corner right there. And then there's going to be, I believe, 3 pieces to the harness that go into the cluster. I want to say 3. And we'll try to get there, and I'll show you those when we get there. Right, once you've got those 3 bolts loose, you can kind of shimmy your way out of here with this cluster piece. And then as you're going to see, there's going to be clips for the cluster right there. There are 3 clips. They're pretty hard to mix up, but basically you're going to lift the tabs on them and pull them out, and then this cluster should pull out. Like I said, it's really hard to do this as it is, let alone with one hand. But you can reach your hand in there like that. So I got the cluster out. It's easier to show you now that the harness is actually disconnected. Far left is going to be your fuel gauge and things like that. This side is going to be your tach and everything, and then obviously you work with your temp sensors and whatnot. Super easy to kind of look at when it's out. And then this is what the back of the cluster looks like. They plug into there, far left, middle, and then right. Obviously this is flipped because I'm holding it backwards, but this is what it looks like. So after you've taken the clusters apart and put them back together, now I'm going to do the fun part, which is the LED lights that I'm going to be replacing. They are pretty straightforward. They're these right here, and the new ones, I'll put the link in the description, are very like the exact same design. So what you do, like for example, this is one of the illuminated ones, so you twist would be counterclockwise, and then you pull straight out, and that's your old bulb. And then what you would do, for example, this is my new one that I placed up. Same thing. You would slide it in, slide it in like that, and then you would twist it clockwise until it fully seats. Now, the directions for the boxes say that if you plug it in and they do not light up, do the exact same thing, but flip them around and try that. It happened to me on a couple of them when we were doing Diana's. There we go. I'm not sure what these are going to be like, but what you do is you plug it into the car first, you check, you turn your lights on, you'll be able to see which ones are on, which ones aren't, and then you flip those around, and then you can button it back up afterward. So after you put your new lights in and you plug everything up in your harness just to check everything, you turn your lights on. As you can see, that side's lit up. This one's lit up. There's a middle one that's lit up, one over here, and then one in your corner. They're all lit up, ready to go. As you can see, there you go. Better. So that means you're ready to start putting stuff back together, and we'll see if this thing works. So after you've got this stuff buttoned up and the bolts back in here and clipped, everything else is clipped in, it's just reverse order, honestly. Put the bolts in your column, get that straight up. Work on toward your kick panel after that, plug your lights in, put all of those bolts. Actually, sorry, I take that back. Once you do your column, you can make sure you set this thing back on there, or you're not gonna be able to get it in otherwise. Then you can get the bottom half of that steering column cover, put it all up, you're good to go on that. Do your kick panel, plug your lights in, get your hood latch going, and then you can work your way back to that fuse box panel and the door sill panel right here. I'm going to do all that. Like I said, it's just reverse order. You should be able to handle it. If not, hit me up with questions. I'm going to put this all back together, and then we're going to see if everything else works now. So right off the bat, started the car. The gauge is falling again. So that leads me to believe it's not the gauge. On another note, my car thinks I'm driving right now, apparently, because speedo's going up. So I mean, I don't know what that's about. Well, I guess we'll see when we start driving, but at least my lights work. So unfortunately, the outro that I did film for that video was just a bunch of rambling, and it was directed toward the gauges rather than the actual LED bulbs themselves. So I would like to say, like I said, I have had these on the car for 2 years now, 0 issues. Deanna has had a set, exactly the same set as mine on her car for over 2 years now. It's probably been closer to 3 on hers. Bulbs do go out occasionally. They give you spares. All you have to do is the exact same thing. They're cheap LEDs. They're going to go out, especially if you drive your car a lot. But other than that, 0 complaints, 0 issues. It looks great at night. They have all sorts of colors. I think blue is kind of perfect for both of our cars. I think it looks really good. But yeah, no, definitely recommend these products. I will put them in the description, the exact ones that I bought. And yeah, I would also like to say a huge shout out to you guys. We officially hit 500 subscribers. I never thought that I could even get 100 people to subscribe to my channel, let alone, here we are at 500. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, and some people probably think that's, kind of a funny little goal, but 500 is a lot. It means a lot to me, and just to think that me putting together these little videos here and there got 500 people to subscribe to my channel is crazy. I really hope to get to the next milestone. I'm really appreciative of everything you guys have done. And I cannot wait to post the next video for you guys. It's going to be something pretty cool. So I'll catch you in the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with your friends. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.